Alright, fellas, there's been a tidal wave of news in the boxing world this past week, especially surrounding the long-rumored, but now officially confirmed showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, a fight that's been one of boxing's worst-kept secrets for months, but finally we have a date, a location, and a glove zone partner. And with that has come a flood of updates, rumors, and speculation that absolutely need breaking down from who might be featured on this mega card to how the promotion is being handled and whether the hype truly lives up to the billing. But just quickly, if you don't know me, my name's Glove Zone, and I keep you in the loop with everything going on in boxing as it happens. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a thing, but let's get into it. Canelo versus Crawford is officially locked in for September 13th in Las Vegas, and what makes this even more historic is that it'll be streamed live on Netflix, marking the third major boxing card hosted by the platform following the Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson spectacle and the upcoming Taylor vs. Serrano trilogy finale. And well, this Netflix partnership felt inevitable for a fight of this size given the platform's massive reach and deep pockets. It's a huge win for fans because it removes the annoying pay-per-view wall and makes it accessible to millions who already subscribe, meaning more eyes on boxing and less friction for casual fans to tune in. But despite all that upside, the rollout of this event has felt strange, even clunky at times. Despite this being arguably one of the biggest boxing matchups of the last few years, the way it's been promoted has lacked punch, pardon the pun, and there's been a heavy-handed push to brand it as the fight of the decade, with that exact phrase being repeated across every piece of marketing. But instead of letting the stakes and talent speak for themselves, the promotion feels more manufactured than organic, and honestly, it's giving exhibition vibes. Like the mutual respect tour Canelo and Crawford have been on, where they're all smiles, praising each other with no friction or tension. And while not every super fight needs trash talk, something about the tone of this whole thing feels off compared to, say, Bivol vs. Beater Beef, which was all business, high stakes, and no fluff. And I think that forced tone, coupled with the fact that hardcore boxing fans have known this fight was coming for at least a year, means that when the announcement finally dropped, it lacked that shock and a moment effect made even clearer when the official Netflix promo barely cracked a couple million views, which for a fight of this magnitude is wildly underwhelming. And while it will inevitably be a financial success due to Netflix's global footprint, you can't help but feel like the buildup has created more confusion than buzz. And adding to the circus is Dana White, who after initially being pushed out of the promotional picture is suddenly back in the mix in some capacity, though not as the lead promoter, but more as a marketing face. And as Eddie Hearn pointed out in a recent interview, Dana's involvement is less about control and more about visibility, because while Saudi Arabia's Turkey Al-Sheikh is ultimately the shot caller behind these mega events, Dana White is still one of the most recognizable figures in combat sports, and having him present adds a level of mainstream appeal. And get this, rumors are swirling that the fight may even take place earlier in the day on Saturday to accommodate Dana's UFC schedule that night, which would be a truly bizarre twist if it happens, and honestly kind of disrespectful to boxing fans who believe this should be a primetime Saturday night main event. And I completely agree, this type of fight deserves the night slot, not a mid-afternoon broadcast just to sync with Dana's calendar. But aside from the odd promotional choices and scheduling rumors, let's talk undercard, because that's where things get spicy. Turkey has recently stated that he's no longer interested in putting on running fights, which echoes the online debate sparked by YouTuber Showbiz proposing a controversial no running rule in boxing, a topic that's been heavily discussed and criticized in recent months, with fans and analysts pointing out that implementing vague rules like no running opens the door for subjective officiating and potential corruption. And while I'd rather see real changes to things like ring sizes or judging criteria, Turkey's point seems more about ensuring action-packed matchups rather than technical chess matches. And to help with that, he's floated a list of fighters he wants on the card, guys like Canelo Nakatani, Christian Billy, Abdullah Mason, and other up-and-coming fighters with ties to the Saudi boxing push, which makes sense from a business standpoint. They want to use the global spotlight of a Netflix megacard to elevate the next wave of talent they're investing in. And while I'd personally love to see fighters like Rolando Rolly Romero, Ajit Cabale, Ja Apataya, or even a Yanabek Alim Hanley versus Carlos Adames unification bout, The reality is we're probably going to get a more modest undercard stacked with hungry, lesser-known names looking to break out, which, from a boxing purist point of view, isn't a bad thing at all, and guys like Nakatani absolutely deserve that kind of platform if they want to stay active and make a statement before potential super fights in early 2026. So, while we shouldn't expect a stacked undercard like some of the Riyadh season shows, we're still likely getting strong, entertaining fights beneath a historic main event, but that's where things stand right now. We've got a mega fight between Canelo and Crawford officially set for September 13th in Vegas, streaming globally on Netflix, with Dana White back in the picture as a promotional figurehead, Turkey calling the shots behind the scenes, and a mix of rising stars and action-driven bouts expected to fill out the card. And now, I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think of Netflix as the platform for this fight? How do you feel about the promotional rollout so far? Do you think the Fight of the Decade label fits? And who do you want to see on the undercard? Drop all your thoughts down below in the comments, and as always, if you enjoyed the breakdown, please like the video and subscribe because it really helps push the channel forward, and I'll keep you covered on all things boxing as we move closer to this historic showdown. Cheers for watching, fellas, and I'll catch you in the next one.